Ladies and gentlemen, US President Donald Trump may be under the impression that India has a government that will give in to his trade tariff bullies if he puts out one stupid tweet. Well, Trump, let me remind you, the sixth largest economy in the world will not care much for you or your empty threats. Let's debate.
On the debate tonight, Trump tries to bully India again. On June 28th, Prime Minister Modi met President Trump in Osaka amid trade tensions.
भारत और अमेरिका के संबंध एक दूरगामी और सकारात्मक विजन के साथ आगे बढ़े, इसके लिए हम कमिटेड हैं और उसके लिए हम प्रयास करते रहेंगे.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, and we've become great friends, and our countries have never been closer. I can say that with surety, and we work together in many ways, including military, but we certainly work together on trade, and we'll be discussing trade today.
The differences seemed ironed out. The bonhomie between the two world leaders was for the world to see. But 19 days later, Trump is back to his old bully self. Out of the blue, the eccentric president of America tweeted, "India has long had a field day putting tariffs on American products. No longer acceptable." Well, Mr. Trump, what's not acceptable is this arm twisting on tariffs. While US has imposed curbs and caps, India hasn't taken it lightly. The Modi government has hit back in equal measure by keeping nation first.
India engages with the United States on a number of diplomatic, strategic, trade issues, all of which are on the basis of sovereign interests of the country. Both countries protect their mutual trade and business interests. Both countries protect their strategic interests.
The muscle flexing and bullying won't work with India. Looks like Modi government will fight back harder. Let's debate.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone in. Robin Sachdev is an India-US foreign affairs expert. Madhu Kishwar is with us, founder editor of Manushi. We have Michael Kugelman of the Wilson Center. Michael, hello. Can I have the audio up? Michael, I hope you can hear me. Stephen Golub from California. And Puneet Ahluwalia from Washington. Thank you. Let's start. My first question is to Stephen. Stephen, what is Donald Trump trying to do? You see, this does not really work. We are a large economy, and this spasmodic tweeting is not going to be taken seriously at all by India. Principally, you need to realize that India does not depend on foreign direct investment. You don't have any levers on us. So, Stephen, this is not going to work. America has no levers on India. We have many levers on you. This is not a China-US situation. We don't need you. We don't need your products. We don't need your arms. We don't need your trade. And we don't need these tweets. It's going to be counterproductive. You're going to lose because there is no dependence, you see. China, you may have some dependence. China may be dependent on you for something. Right? We don't have any levers. Only lever you got is on the visa issue, the H1N1 visa issue. There is no other lever. We are in a powerful situation. You know the trade surplus, 24.2 billion. It does not work. You should not get into a battle. Puneet, Stephen, Michael, and Ray Locker, politely I'd say this to you, America should not get into a battle it is destined to lose. There is never going to be any victory with India, and we won't even engage with you. Over. History. We don't need you. It's a joke. This is the same man who believes the US Federal Reserve doesn't have a clue. You know, why are you doing this? Can any of you please pick that up? Maybe Stephen, maybe you can. Go on. Or Puneet, maybe, or Michael.
Arnab, first thing is stop
to weigh in. First
Okay, one of you at a time.
You're not going to get me defending Donald Trump's. You're not going to get me defending Donald Trump's rhetoric or approach to policy, be it trade or international security or the environment or terrorism or anything. He really is, to make a long story short, the least competent president we've ever had. Having said that, I think there are legitimate issues to discuss in terms of the substance of trade policy. But in some ways, I'll agree with you, although not with your own rhetoric, which I think is rather excessive here, in terms of Donald Trump will not be engaging very much on substantive policy matters here. A lot of what's driving his policy in all regards, including this particular dispute, is ego and presidential politics for next year.
No, but you know, while I understand this, while I understand what you are trying to say, see, listen, no, it's not about Donald Trump as a personality. He's amusing, he's entertaining, he's a source of viewership and revenue for controversial channels like CNN, who are financially and editorially dependent on him. My question is that this is the same Trump and the same American government, Michael, which increases American tariffs up to 25% on Chinese goods. So I don't understand which world is America in. You don't have any levers. You raise tariffs to protect your industry. We will raise tariffs to protect our industry. End of story. What are you whining about? What is Trump whining about, really? We're not getting it in India. He's such a whiner.
Well, look, I think you nailed it. I think he's whining, but if I may, I think...
No, Michael, why is America such a whiner country? They just keep whining.
They are whining. Trump thinks that the
Can I listen to Michael and one person, please go on? Yeah.
We're not a whiner country.
Well, first of all, I mean, this is one tweet that Trump has sent out about tariffs. It's not the first hostile tweet out about tariffs. Don't use Twitter as a bully.
Can't hear the audio. Can I get Michael, please? No, I can't hear the audio there. Puneet, I'm sorry, I'm having an issue there with the audio. I think, Michael, you wanted to reply to that. Michael, why does America whine so much? This is, I mean, if you call protection, the most juvenile protectionism today is happening in America. You know that.
Well, I'm not, can you hear me now?
Yes, you can go ahead. Yeah, please go on.
No, I mean, I'll be very, I'm not going to argue that as was before, the current U.S. president is unlike anything we've seen before in terms of how he carries.
I'm sorry, I'm really having an audio issue, so I'll pass that on to Ray. Ray.
Arnab.
Yes, Ray. How are you, Ray?
Oh,
you guys
increased.
You're very good to see you. You increased tariffs on steel imports from India by 25%, aluminum imports from India by 10%. Of course, we are going to give you retaliatory tariffs. What do you think? We're going to punish you for it.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Hey, look, I'm with Michael and Stephen. We're not going to argue on behalf of Donald Trump. I mean, his trade policies make little sense. India should be a trade ally, not a scapegoat. But this is how this president operates. He makes outrageous claims about all sorts of countries because he believes that basically any country other than the United States is somehow trying to cheat the United States. And that's not really so. There may be some substantive trade issues on which the two countries disagree and they can negotiate. But when it comes to what the president does on Twitter, there really is very little reason behind any of that.
Sushant is with us also, and we also have before that Robin Sachdev. We're just asking here, I thought Americans were smart, but I don't know what you're doing. You're fighting with China and India at the same time. You haven't sorted things out. Your only friend in the world now is Kim. You know, your bilateral trade with India is $126.2 billion. You cannot afford to irritate India as a bilateral trading partner. I don't know what
I don't think
levers
there's any
Trump
trade
thinks he
expert
has
in
on
the United
India.
States who would disagree with that. I think we all agree that that is true. Americans are not President Trump. Most business people
No,
in
I
this
know you're
country
not,
think
but why
that
don't
what's
you people?
happening is
This man
ridiculous.
is going to take you down. His attitude.
I think that's why there are more than 20 Democratic candidates for president, is they all think that that's the case, and they're all trying to do something to make sure that he's not reelected.
No, but that's all right. But I want to know where this will go. Sushant, where is this going to go right now? We are an understanding country. But, you know, Trump has just 3 words that influence him: pain, panic, and paranoia. All of his psychological problems reflect themselves on Twitter. America cannot survive without India, period. They can try and do as much muscle flexing as they want, but they cannot survive without India. Sushant.
Look, here is the thing. I think, number one, trade is not a favor to anybody. Both countries benefit from trade. So if we have a $125 billion trade with the Americans, we gain from it as much as the Americans do. So nobody is doing anybody a favor on that. Secondly, if you compare the India's trade surplus with the Chinese trade surplus, I think that's comparing apples and oranges, because trade between India and the US is a lot more balanced than between any other countries. But then you come down to, Donald Trump. See, he has a very mercantilist approach. It's a very 18th century kind of a thing. There is some merit in what the American side is talking about in terms of the same kind of tariff structures across the board, and that the Americans have been giving a lot more than what they've been getting. I think that's a bit of a misreading as far as trade is concerned, but that is a kind of a fetish which Donald Trump has. Now, when I look at the relationship with the Americans, I look at 2 parts of it. One is the trading relationship, which seems to have got certain strains, and I think we also have to carry a bit of a can for what is happening. We need to be a little more proactive, engage the Americans a lot more than what we have done in the previous. Let me just finish. Just let me finish. Arnab, just let me finish. Just let me finish, please. So I think we need also to engage the Americans a lot more seriously and try and find
we can. Sushant.
There is another aspect to the relationship which we cannot ignore, which is the strategic relationship.
But Sushant, 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I don't believe. No. I think 1 second. One point is very clear. I think you used a word which is very critical, and I would like to get Stephen Golub on this. Stephen, you're joining us from California. Sushant Sareen, one of our most esteemed strategic affairs experts, says we need to engage the Americans seriously. I agree, but the operational word, Stephen, there is seriously. This is not serious conversation. You know, it doesn't happen. 2 mature people cannot behave like children in a candy store. He's a spoiled brat, but we cannot engage with a government that says won't happen. Oh, it's terrible. India better watch out. I mean, you have your largest, we are one of your largest goods exports market. Americans make a lot of money exporting mineral fuels, billions of dollars to India. Aircraft, billions of dollars to India. Machinery, billions of dollars of America. We are a big market. You make a lot of money exporting to us. And it's not, you have no lever here. And I don't know, does Stephen tell me, does Trump believe that nobody else in the world makes mineral fuels or aircraft or machinery, or will die if we don't have American ice cream? I mean, does he realize we spend hundreds of millions of dollars, buying missiles from Russia? We don't give a damn about American religious freedom reports. We snub America on importing Venezuelan oil. We will do what the hell we want. We are a large power. You have no levers on us, Stephen. I mean, I don't know what really is Trump hoping to negotiate on the basis of.
Well, he's willing to negotiate on the basis of ego, meaning his, a lack of information, meaning his, by which I mean that he knows very little about trade or any other issue. He's He actually has problem processing information. The man cannot read even a one-page policy memo summarizing the policy issues at play. He's very, very superficial and limited in that regard. So I'm basically agreeing with the many very good points that Ray just made in terms of dealing with Donald Trump. My advice, for what it's worth, I shouldn't call this advice, my perspective, is to the extent that India can engage with lower level officials and others to try to get them to temper Trump's point of view, that's good. Whether that will work or not, I can't guarantee it all, because the man really is abnormal. The other perspective I'd offer is not to confuse, even though he's the president, don't confuse him with America at large. There are many policymakers, many politicians in the U.S., even some in the Republican Party, even though most of them have been cowards in dealing with Donald Trump, who have a broader perspective on the world than this fellow does. What we're all trying to do over here, what many of us are trying to do over here in the U.S., is get through to the election, the presidential election next November, and hope that we end up with Trump being defeated, not because he's a Republican per se, but this is really, he's a unique threat to trade and to all sorts of issues, and to even our democracy in terms of his attitudes towards our democracy.
Yeah, you know what I thank you for saying that. It's very reassuring. But Madhu Kishwar, you know, and believe me, nobody identifies Trump with America. Thank God for that. But you know, we at the same time, it leaves a scar. And the bottom line is, you have a president who is waddling his thumbs on his phone. And this is cyberbullying. And he's dealing with the prime minister of the largest democracy of the world, who has just been elected with a historic mandate to the largest parliament in the world. I mean, you are not dealing with a small country. There has to be, Madhu, some level of decency, I thought, and therefore I'm really confused. I mean, you know, he can't try this with a Xi Jinping. He can't try it with a Putin, and he better not try it with Narendra Modi. Why doesn't he get it? And I really think we should stop engaging with this person. Let's see where the Americans can take this.
Arnab, I fully share your annoyance at the fact that he's making these kind of threatening noises, and that too over Twitter. No head of state does that. If there are serious issues, you engage at the appropriate level. However, having said that, I think what we need to understand is two things. One, India has given a lot of concessions, free trade agreements and concessions to ASEAN countries and to Chinese undervoiced goods. We are actually our enterprise is being destroyed because of dumping of undervoiced Chinese goods. And so is America harmed by that. We both need to contain China together. And secondly, which is even more important, this is the first president who understands, for all his craziness, who understands India's security concerns vis-a-vis Islamic Jihad. He is the only one who's taken a very firm stand against Pakistan, much firmer than any other earlier president.
Well,
India needs allies.
I would rather not see Madhu, I would rather not see a mix between, strategic and economic affairs, because on economic affairs, on economic affairs, if America has an America first policy, we can have an India first policy, point number one. Point number two is, he needs to understand broader Indian interest, and that's what I want Robin to come in on. Robin, Indians are not targeting America. I think Trump has got it wrong. If you see the number of customs duties that have been put on a range of items in the last budget, it is part of the Make in India campaign. It is not, nobody's fighting with America. It's not, it would apply to goods from Czechoslovakia or the European Union as well. Yes, Robin.
No, absolutely, Arnab. If I could take a step back, couple of points. One, I think what's happening with Trump and the grouse which you mentioned at the beginning of your program I think Trump has an overall grouse with the world that the world has been taking advantage of the US in terms of trade and also defense. If you see, the US has been talking to NATO and saying that, okay, 2% you guys are not spending, need to spend more. G20 just last week or a couple of weeks ago, before reaching Japan, he tweeted, and by the way, tweet is, we got to live with this. This is the era of tweeting in foreign policies. He tweeted that if any army were to attack Japan, America would defend. But if anyone were to attack America, Japanese would be watching the war on Sony television. Imagine that. So with that perspective, we got to see where Trump is taking America. I think the biggest issue which America is looking right now is that Trump wants to delay the rise of China, and not only the rise of China, if possibly to deny the technology leadership of China.
No,
which
no,
will come about
okay,
30 years.
Okay,
now,
no, one minute.
Only player who could.
No, one minute. Robin, this is a man who is insular. I just want to make 2 points, and I want Puneet Ahluwalia, who's actually served on the Trump Asian Pacific American Society Advisory Committee in 2016. So Puneet has been close to the Trump administration. See, Puneet, you will understand this. America has no moral right. You look at it, and one more thing, Puneet, America has never won any pressure tactic on India.
Okay.
No, I'll give you 2 examples. You are old enough to remember 1971. One second. I'll tell you. India always wins. One second. Puneet, let me complete. Puneet, let me complete. Puneet, let me complete. What happened in 1971?
Okay,
what did Nixon do? He said, I'll send my Navy's 7th Fleet and India will cow down. What happened? We won, no? We put America in its place. Nixon couldn't do it. Then what happened in 1995? I don't remember who was the US president then. What happened after Pokhran? You said that we will make India international pariah for carrying out nuclear tests. What happened? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Bill Clinton was the president. Clinton couldn't do it. Nixon couldn't do it. What will Trump do? What can he do, Puneet? Does he realize?
Okay, can I say something now?
Yes.
Arnab, can I say one thing now?
Yes.
You have everyone bashing up my president who has been and going to get re-elected
Doesn't
for
matter.
6 years from now. I mean, in 2020. So you have 6 years to deal with.
It doesn't matter. I don't have to deal with him. You have to deal with him. I am an Indian. No, I am an Indian. Why should I deal with an American president? Good luck, he gets elected. I don't have to deal with him.
We're happy with his
Don't
leadership.
threaten us.
We're happy with his leadership.
You may be very happy. We don't give a damn.
Nobody's threatening you. It's. No, and the reason is sure, and that's the reason why you're having this show. But the first thing important is perhaps you should.
You have to deal with 6 years of his infantile behavior
between 2 countries. He reached out to Prime Minister Modi. No, it's look. Understand this thing. This relationship has a great potential, and we are basically saying words of attack and coming after my president for no reason. What's important for the Prime Minister of India is to have some great people in Washington to find a way.
No. This is no way. No, this is no way.
And find a
no,
way
this
to
is
build
no
a
way.
stronger
This is no
partnership
way.
with
This is
US
no
and
way.
India.
Michael is raising his hand. Michael, this is no way. You don't come and no. You talk to us with respect. I'm sorry, Puneet. Puneet, you are a person of Indian origin. Understand this. You talk to my Prime Minister with respect.
No.
One minute. Just because we are more decent, mature, and sober.
And we do.
No. You don't. I'll tell you Trump's behavior. Trump's standard behavior is, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to put you down, and I'm going to scare you. And you think we're going to be so scared to come back and say, can we engage with you? No, we won't engage with you. He should realize. He's like a badly behaved investment banker.
It's your choice, Arnab. You don't have to. You have.
Yeah, we don't have to. Exactly. We don't.
With China, you've seen the experience. What has happened when you deal with bad actors. So you see, Arnab, the relationship has to be realigned. That's what's important.
But the way you're going about it, there's going to be no relationship. If you think, I mean, Sushant is hearing here and Madhu is, I'm surprised they're not
really.
responding to it. No.
No, we can't respond.
Because
and,
the reason is they all want to be
interrupt
Trump
others. If
bashers,
you give
and
me
that's
a
not the way
minute, I will.
you build
If
relationships.
you let me come in, I will.
I tell you one thing tonight. I'm making one thing extremely clear. Trump.
I think the important
Yes, go on, Michael.
The important thing to keep in mind, it's a very simple point. We could talk all we want about Trump's tone and his style and how rude he is, but at the end of the day, the U.S.-India relationship is in a pretty good place. Despite these tensions on the trade side, despite the tensions with tariffs and all that, I think it's important to highlight that, mainly because of the strength of this defense relationship, the relationship will be okay.
But Michael, I'll tell you one thing.
No, but also, Arnab, don't forget, he's far more clear-sighted.
No. I'll just say one thing in the area.
In favor of
I tell you, Michael, listen.
That's really important.
Michael, listen.
Or no?
You know why? You know what we said? You didn't want us to buy oil from Venezuela. We told you Venezuela is the chair of OPEC and GCF. We're going to do it. What could you do? We are buying Venezuelan oil. What could Trump do? Nothing. Trump can do nothing to Venezuela. He can do nothing to Cuba. He can do nothing to Russia. He can do nothing to China. He can certainly do nothing to India.
Right, of course, and I acknowledge these are challenges for the relationship.
He can get headlines. That's all.
As well, and that's 400. But
he needs the headlines.
I think that the strength of the partnership will be quite all right.
Well, I think he's looking at his popularity rating. Well, anyway, I've had a bit of audio issues, but I thank you very much for that conversation. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Good night and goodbye.